What is going on, YouTube? PPS back. It is our Wednesday edition of Pass the Prop. Going to the NBA today. Talk a little NFL, but obviously a huge NBA slate today. I think it's 10 games, some pretty high totals, some fun ones sprinkled in there. Joined as always by my guy Stu. How you doing, my man?
I'm doing pretty good. We've had two kind of smaller slates. There's been some good games in them, but now we get kind of a bigger slate. We see most of the good teams playing today. It's a good day. I'm ready to make some money.
Yeah, no, both of our teams are in action as well for the NBA. Bucks are in a primetime game against the Cavs tonight. Maybe no Donovan Mitchell. So many injuries today. We were kind of texting about it earlier in the day, just like all these late news. Like we had to pick from like 4 games because Luka goes out. That screws up a lot of stuff. Then you see Bam gets ruled out. He's screwing everything up. Jokic is out. That ruins a ton of stuff too. So, yeah, we're kind of in a tough spot, like halfway through the day, just seeing all these injuries here. Obviously, some pretty high usage guys as well. So a lot of those books haven't even released props yet on a lot of them.
Yeah, no, I mean, especially too some stuff. Jokic health and safety protocols, right? That was a big one. No props are even up in that game. I mean, who's going to take? Is Michael Porter Jr. going to take 500 threes today? Like the guy can't dribble, so it's like, hey, Jamal, I'm in the corner over here. So it'll be interesting to see how some of the, because I feel like this is honestly one of the first slates we've had to react to this much injury news actually with that many star players. So it'll be interesting to see what guys kind of pick up the slack that we might not have expected.
Yeah, it's like almost hard to play DFS today if you're an NBA guy because like 4 of the dudes are just wash, right? Like you could just throw in Dinwiddie if you want. He's probably 50% owned. You're going to see Murray or Porter 50%. If Dwayne Dedmon plays, he's going to be 1,000,000%. It's gross. It's just an ugly slate in that sense because there's going to be so much chalk with all these high-end injuries throughout. Let's take a look at the comments here. Jay, welcome. Terrence, awesome to see you in here as well. Turbo, Steve, Carlos, awesome to see all you guys in here. 20 of you guys in here already in the first couple minutes. We appreciate you for sure. And let's kind of talk about your team here and then talk about mine because we got back-to-back primetime games for our teams here. We both were siding on the Washington Commanders side for the spread. Who would have thought they were going to get the full win? But we kind of mentioned they match up really well with the Eagles, seeing as their front seven is so good.
Yeah, no, it was a good win. It was a fun win. I was very excited. Obviously, we talked about it before. I said on the show just 2 years ago, Washington knocked out an undefeated Steelers team on primetime. It felt like destiny. It felt like it was going to happen again right here. So I was very happy to see that. It looks like Heineke, too, will be parlaying that momentum into another start, even though Wentz is off the injury report. It did say Ron Rivera said it looked like we are going to be sticking with our guy Heineke. So that's good for me, man. It's very enjoyable. I did the whole how's Washington going to make the playoffs? Who needs to lose when? We probably need to beat the Giants twice. There's a lot of stuff that has to happen, but it's exciting to be a fan of so many bad teams and then see your team get a win on primetime. It feels really good. So I was fired up. I was annoying people, texting Seahawks friends, Cowboys friends that were kicking them out the playoffs in week 18. A lot of fun stuff for me. So I'm still probably riding that high a little bit today.
Hey, don't talk shit to the Seahawks fans. They got the GOAT at quarterback. I don't care. Everybody thinks Heineke's a G because he's drinking beers and the thing. What do you think Geno's doing, man? His head's in the playbook. He's ready, baby. That's what the GOATs do. And that's what Geno's doing all the time. That's why they're successful. I'm going to keep hyping Geno until the Super Bowl, baby. We're getting them Seahawks in the Super Bowl on Geno's back there. But yeah, we will go through our plays from last show. Not our greatest show that we've had here, but obviously when you're put up some pretty good numbers here on the whole season, you're going to have games like this. Brian Robinson obviously came through for you. I don't even know. Did he not play the second half? Like he didn't play that. Like the rotations were weird in that game.
Yeah, that was a weird one. I was out, so I wasn't able to. I saw he had 22 going into the fourth quarter, and I was like, oh, okay, we're winning this one. And I checked at the end of the game, and he did not score any more points. So I don't know what the deal with that was, but I think it was just blowout stuff, right? I think they were losing pretty bad.
There's been a lot lately. There's been a lot like that lately. Like the Nets last night. What is that,
Yeah.
dude? 37-point loss, and they scored 120. That was crazy. Oubre, I will never again. He is now reaching the unbettable status. The dude scored 18 points in that game and was 0 for 7 from 3. I'm like, we talk about volume. He gave me the volume that I was expecting, but obviously didn't expect him to just. He was open for them too, so it's like you can go through all the numbers. Obviously, the guys have to execute there. And then another blowout here for the Spurs in that game where Vassell just decided to not do anything because their whole team just shit the bed. Besides Mr. Pirtle. Did you see Pirtle's numbers last night?
No, I didn't. How good?
37 and 18 last night was his numbers. So yeah, he cooked there. But yeah, the one day I don't bet on Jakob Pirtle is the day he goes off for 55 points plus rebounds. So NFL, obviously, your NFL one came through. We're sitting at a nice, almost 13 units there. And obviously, NBA hasn't started out great, but I have a feeling we're going to crush today's slate. We will take a look here. Yeah, Terrence Davis, too, 36 last night. What the frick, dude? I've never seen that. Dude shot like 7 for 9 from 3. It was absurd.
Javon Carter first. Now Terrence Davis is defensive-minded backup point guard's dream in the NBA right now. Oh, my God.
Yeah, dude. Who would have thought that blowout would have been like that? I guess it just shows how bad the Nets bench is because all it took was Terrence Davis to start cooking there in the second quarter for them just to get absolutely blown out of the water because their bench just couldn't compete. And obviously, you can't rotate Simmons as your primary scorer into a game. So when Durant sits, but so we're going to head into Thursday Night Football, talk a little bit there. My Packers on primetime there. Kind of nervous. This just doesn't feel like a great matchup at all. The only reason I'm even leaning like towards the plus 3.5 is because they're giving me 3.5, and it's in Lambeau. So I do like that. I think that's a tough spot to go on a short week. I'll kick it to you first, just because I obviously will give you my 2 cents in there, but it is really a tough matchup here for the Packers offense for sure in what they want to do.
Yeah, it's a tough matchup for the Packers offense. And then on the other side, too, it's kind of a good matchup for the Tennessee offense that really just wants to run the ball 100 times a game. And that's really where you want to attack the Packers, too. It's a tough one for me. I do like the Titans in the game. I feel like people are going to want to start the, Aaron Rodgers is back narrative train this week. I feel like that's where maybe some of the public money may be coming in. We just saw him win last week. He was fired up. They obviously pretty much every game is now a must-win game for the Packers right now. It's a really bad matchup. The biggest thing and the thing that's going to stop me from betting the Titans, because there's no, it's in Lambeau. Like you said, it's Rodgers. He's still arguably a top 3 quarterback in the NFL. Even if he hasn't shown it this season, he's still Aaron Rodgers at home in a must-win game, and that's really hard when Ryan Tannehill is on the other side of the ball to bet against, especially when you're getting those points. So I do like the Titans just from a philosophy standpoint. I think the Titans will be able to do what they do well a lot easier than the Packers will, right? I mean, the Titans low-key have been the best run defense in football this season. I mean, they've been really, really good at stopping the run. They're going to set those safeties back in cover 2 at an extremely high rate, and they're going to make you beat them over the middle. And I don't know if Rodgers is going to want to do that, if he's going to want to take those check downs, but it's a tough game for me, honestly. I don't think I'll be betting a side. I will say I kind of like the under in the game. That's probably the one angle I like so far.
Yeah, and I'm going to probably just lean the Packers a little bit here, obviously on the spread for sure, 3.5, where you can find your best options here. But I just don't think Tannehill can push the ball down the field either. I think they're just going to stack the box, right? You see that like 90% of his passes go to freaking tight ends, right? And we just talked about the Packers versus tight ends. Austin Hooper is going to be in that spot there. Obviously, he had 7-8 targets last game. And then you see Westbrook Akine is now just popping off, right? He had a 63-yard touchdown there. But I mean, I don't – it's going to come down to the run, right? That's really all it is. And if they can put – I think that they can put 8 in the box because you don't have to double anywhere, right? You don't have to double anybody on the outside. They don't have anybody that can win in one-on-one coverage against the corners that the Packers are going to have. So I just think that the the Lambeau the short week, I think really benefits the Packers in this game. I think it's going to be, obviously you don't have to travel at all. They played last week at home, short week there. Tennessee coming off a close, tough physical game with Denver. And I think that Aaron Jones is like the perfect matchup for this, right? You could just flip him the ball outside. You could play him in a slot if you want. You could put him outside if you want, right? AJ Dillon, I would probably take every single under to the moon for him. But I think Aaron Jones is going to have still be able to do what he does. And it's just a short pass game, quick get it out. I think Randall Cobb is going to be very important. He's coming back this week. He is that underneath threat. And obviously now you have to worry about Watson now. I mean, I don't think he's really going to be much like this year. I like him long term, but I think just because now you have to respect that, I'd be interested to see how the Titans attack for sure.
Yeah, that's a good point. And I think, I think you kind of nailed it. The three guys on that offense I'd be looking at are Aaron Jones, Tunyon, and Cobb. Like you said, those underneath options when the pressure is there that Rodgers can find. And yeah, it'll be interesting to see if Watson can, he'll be running those deep routes. If they connect with one, like you said, that's gold right there. And now coming off a game, you probably didn't have to respect Christian Watson 2 weeks ago, but now you do. You really have to after what we just saw last week. So it's actually, I'm kind of excited for this one. I think it's going to be a really close game. I think it's going to be a good game. And I can't fault you at all for leading the Packers because I do agree with that. But I think the under is probably where I'm looking right now. It feels like a grimy, low scoring, close game that ends on the final possession.
Yeah, no. And I think Jay's exactly right. That if I see AJ Dillon in there for more than 25% of the plays, I'm just going to be irate unless he's a fullback. Because I don't think there's any reason to have him in there. That you're going to have to beat the Titans to the spot, right? You can't try to run a slow back through those spots. It takes them a little while to get going. I just don't think you're going to be able to do that against this Vrabel defense here. So, like I said, I lean the Packers, but I think it's going to be, like you said, a slow game. I'm kind of excited to see what the Packers have in store for Christian Watson in this type of matchup here, especially because Dobbs is still out. Luckily, Cobb comes back. If Cobb wasn't back, honestly, I probably would recant my statement because he is that underneath guy. So we'll see. We will see. All right, 20 of you guys in here in the chat. We will take a look here at today's slate for NBA. Obviously, a ton of injuries like we talked about. Is there a game that you're looking forward to the most tonight? Obviously, I won't count the Bucks game and I won't count the Wizards game because of our biases. But is there a game otherwise that you're looking at?
Yeah, Knicks Nuggets tonight I think could be pretty fun. I think Warriors Suns is the obvious late game choice, but I want to check out this Nuggets team and what they look like in their current form right now. And then, like we always talk about, I love these bad teams squaring off. So Pacers Hornets is going to be a fun one too early on.
Yep, I was thinking in Pacers Hornets. I think you took 45% of the board there on your 3 picks because we already eliminated 2. So I'm definitely not going Toronto Heat. That's definitely not going to be out there. But yeah, I think the Charlotte one's going to be fun. Yeah, I think that's perfect, right? That definitely fits into the mold of what we like to go with on these bad teams here. But another bad team that's just been heating up lately, obviously with some studs, is the Oklahoma City Thunder. I will kick it to you for your first play of the day, and that's where we're heading.
Yep, sounds good. We're gonna have some fun right here. We're going over to DK, and we're gonna do a same game parlay right here. We're going Lou Dort, 3 first quarter points, SGA a first quarter assist, and then SGA to grab a steal plus 100 right here. I'll start with SGA, his assist, because I do think it kind of shapes the way I'm viewing this game right here. First off, he has 2.1 first quarter assist on the season, which is obviously one of the best marks in all of the NBA right now. He's playing 11.3 first quarter minutes, which is also one of the best marks in the NBA. Pretty much both of those just behind Luka right now. So the usage is absolutely there. And then what have we seen from this Washington defense pretty much all season against Stars? We are doubling the crap out of them. I mean, we are just sending doubles all the time. In the most recent games, right, where we saw Washington face superstars, it was Ja Morant, Luka Doncic, and then Kevin Durant. All of those guys, 23 points, and 28 points, which were all 5 or more or less than their points prop. Washington is just throwing these doubles, and the teams are okay with it because we absolutely can't guard after the double team. The movement, the motion, they look so confused. I don't know if it's a coaching problem, but they're really struggling to adapt after they double those stars, which is leaving guys like Lou Dort absolutely wide open outside on the perimeter. So SJ is already crushing that 1 assist number, but I expect him to kind of have multiple kickouts, multiple shooters open out on the end. And I think that's where Lou Dort comes in. 3 first quarter points. He hit this in both games last season versus Washington, and he's hit this in 8 of his last 10. He's averaging 4.5 first quarter points on the season so far. It's pretty simple. He's their most reliable shooter out there. I mean, the Thunder rotation has guys I've legitimately never heard of out there that are just playing. But when you talk about guys that you want to trust for those kickouts, I think I trust Dort more than like Pokuševski out there. So averaging 4.5 points, he should get it done right there. And then finally, SGA steal. He has won in every single game so far. Been a very reliable, averaging over 2 steals per game. And at Washington, we got Beal back at point guard. He's not a true point guard. He's going to turn the ball over more than a guy like Monty Morris out there. So really liking this combo right here. It's all correlated, and I think it's going to hit very easy.
I love it. Love it. I love the plus money on that one. I got as close as I could to the plus money here. This is probably one of my favorite guys tonight overall. I'm going to go to CJ McCollum. I know he's coming off a back-to-back, right? And I looked at that, right? That's one of the first things I looked at is what has he done in back-to-backs, right? Well, he's played 41 minutes in a back-to-back, and he's played 38 minutes in a back-to-back, right? And each one of those back-to-backs, there was no Zion, which is what the stuff is here tonight. And let's just look at who takes the biggest boost when Zion's not in there, right? 28.6% usage rate for CJ without Zion. That's the biggest boost on the team. Brandon Ingram obviously close behind. But CJ McCollum has a 41.6% assist rate without Zion on the court, without him this season, right? That is just absurd. He's averaging 9.7 assists and 20 points in the games without Zion Williamson so far this year. Go over to the Chicago side. Chicago is bottom 10 in assists per game, opponent's field goal percentage, and opponent's three-point percentage. That is why CJ is getting all these assists in these games, because you pull Zion out, right? You're probably inserting Herb Jones and Trey Murphy. Your kicker's out right there, right? Drive, kick him out. You attack Vucevic, who is very, very poor in the paint. I see the dump-offs there to Joval as well. I think everything here just leads me to seeing the assists for CJ. And obviously last night we saw it, right? When he's making his shots, he is not afraid to continue to shoot, right? 23 shot attempts, shot over 50% from 3. I know I always say it. I don't want to buy high on these guys, but without Zion, he's the one who takes the biggest step forward. I like the matchup with Chicago. I absolutely love the freaking total in this game, right? 227 for a game like this. Both teams aren't super fast, but the defenses reflect on why that total is that high. 2-point spread, low blowout effect, right? I think every single point goes to where I want to be in this spot. Sign me up for CJ McCollum facing off against the Bulls.
Yeah, I mean, this team for me can be a little bit hard to pick who goes off, but like you said, Zion being out now kind of sets up those circumstances you want. And yeah, those first quarter numbers, or not first quarter, sorry, back-to-back numbers are very impressive. I didn't know that, but it's normally guys taking a steep decline in back-to-back. So to see that this team has confidence in their rotation, they're letting those starters go out there, and that CJ's playing well, that's definitely a huge plus that I had not considered before. And then, yeah, going up against this Bulls defense, it's very porous. He should be able to attack the rim himself, like you said, against Vucevic down there. And when they have to overcommit to him, then he's going to have those easy dump-offs to Joval. So I definitely think this is a good spot right here.
Yeah, dude, CJ just once Zion gets off the court, you just know he's going to kind of go crazy, because in these other games, like, his numbers are not impressive, right? He's had so many games, like 3 of his last 5 games, he's been under 10 points. But the minute Zion sits out, that last game, he drops a 30-piece. So it's definitely a good reflection of the usage without guys. Obviously, there's a ton of injuries today, but the Pickett Taylor fade is a guy we already talked about. I was expecting to see like DeAndre Jordan rebounds without Jokic. But hey, thank you guys for not being crazy over there on Pickett. Pickett Taylor fade is shy points. I'll get to you, Stu. I think you kind of were talking about maybe fading this one.
Yeah, no, and yeah, you definitely couldn't pay me to bet on DeAndre Jordan rebounds in 2022. So I'm glad we don't have to talk about that up here. Yeah, for me, I'm probably going to fade SGA over 28.5 points right here. It's tough. We actually talked about this a little bit before this show, before we even knew this is the most popular play of the day. For me, like I mentioned earlier, Washington's been very good against these superstars, but it's really only been against the superstars. The team itself isn't performing that well because they're allowing so many buckets to these other players, right? They're not adapting well enough off of these double teams. And I just think the Thunder are just going to try to beat them elsewhere. The problem then comes, what if no one else can make a bucket on the Thunder and SGA just shoots 50 times, which is very possible. So that's why this didn't become an official play or anything like that for me. But like I said, Luka 23 points, Ja 23 points, KD 28 points. These are all guys on the same usage level as SGA, and they were all, deterred pretty well. So I think I'm perfectly fine kind of sitting back and fading this one today.
Yeah, and then I said this to you before the show. I was like, I will never, ever, 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 ever take an under points on Shy, but that doesn't mean I won't just not bet it, right? I will not be betting this spot. I think it's a very fair line. I will just take the over just for the sheer fact that I think he might shoot the ball 35 times tonight. You're obviously your backup point guard is out. You have a bunch of other bums that don't do anything on the court, but they're still out there for minutes, not playing tonight. So, yes, I am looking at you, Darius Baisley. That is who I'm talking about. So, I will take the over just on pure volume. I know it didn't help us when we bet on the Josh Jacobs side when he had 26 carries for 78 yards, but Shai's just so good at getting to the free throw line. I think that's going to be such a hard part tonight for Washington to play without fouling a guy like Shai. He's just so big. He's such a big guard. He's so tough. He's like the same size as Cade Cunningham, but obviously shoots at a much higher rate. So sign me up. I'm going to probably be on the over, but I'm not going to bet it personally.
Yeah, I think free throws are the biggest thing you said right there. Porzingis is very foul heavy, and then so is Advia, and those are two of the guys he's going to see whether he's in the rim or just out on the perimeter. So I think maybe even I go back to the prize picks over free throws that I like to bet on him recently because, like you said, he could have 10, 11, 12, 13 free throws this game.
Yeah, and shooting at like 90%, 88%. So, I mean, you get to the line 10 times, that's a free 9 points. But, yes, we got 35 of you guys in here right now live. We appreciate you. Smash the like button. We're heading into the second round of our plays 3 and 4. And I really love this dude. This guy has been such a revelation. I've been betting on him way too much and putting him into so many DraftKings lineups. This guy is just so good when he's on the court.
Yep, we're going Sengun over 14.5 points right here. I might have sent you the wrong one. It's minus 105 on DK right here. So I might have messed up on the 115 right there. But yeah, you pretty much just need him to get 15 points right here. This is an interesting matchup. I'll start with the thing I like the least probably, which is the Dallas matchup. Well, it's kind of what I like the least and the most, right? Dallas plays at a slow pace. They have for the last couple of years, and it normally gets even worse when Luka's out of the lineup, right? They kind of collapse. They have a lot of these low scoring kind of gritty games. So that's kind of what I don't like. The total's kind of taken a dip, right? It's 216, right? Which might be the lowest total the Rockets have participated in maybe all season long. So that's the bummer, right? It's a pace down spot. But then when we look on the other side, it's really who is going to guard this guy? I mean, because they lost Luka Doncic in the scoring department, Christian Wood is likely going to need to play 30 minutes for this team to score 100 points. I mean, when you talk, besides Dinwiddie, this team has absolutely zero reliable scoring, and that's exactly what Christian Wood is. The reason Christian Wood isn't in the starting lineup is because, yes, he's reliable scoring, but he's also reliable to give up scoring on the other end. But now that Luka Doncic is out, they don't have that scoring to depend on anymore, which means they'll unfortunately have to take the loss on defense to have that scoring back in the lineup with Christian Wood. When Christian Wood is off the court, it won't even be Maxi Kleber anymore, someone who I was a little bit more worried about just because he's a real physical guy. Even though Sengun would have the size advantage, I don't love battling against Kleber down there. He's real physical. Instead, it's going to be Dwight Powell on the second leg of a back-to-back out here, a matchup I'm not very worried about whatsoever. I just think 16 points on the season, that takes a little bit of an increase because he hasn't been in the starting lineup all season. So that jumps to 16.5 when he's been in the starting lineup. I just think no one's going to be able to hang with him on this team. And I think everybody else has tougher matchups. Green on the outside with Bullock, just absolutely on him for 40 minutes a game. DFS might touch a little bit of Sengun, but I think he'll mostly be out on Kevin Porter Jr. on the perimeter at times. And then on Tari Eason, who's been really good for that team, he'll be on the forwards more likely, which I just think means Sengun. Oh, and Jabari, obviously. Jabari, the second overall pick, is probably who DFS will spend most of his time on. I just think that means Sengun is clearly has the best matchup in this one. And I've liked what I've seen so far this year. So I think he keeps it up right here.
Dude is so efficient, efficient. Grabs so many rebounds. Looks fantastic on the offensive glass as well. I think that could be a huge spot to talk about here for the points for Sengun as well. And talk about a guy who's been extremely efficient. I'm going to be rolling with my biggest play of the night, and that's going to be Miles Turner, over 24.5 points plus rebounds, minus 120. Yes, Julius Randle did screw me over last night in that matchup with the Jazz, but what do we always talk about? We always talk about fading one particular team's big men, and that is the Charlotte Hornets, dude. They are so bad at rebounding the basketball and so bad in the paint. Let's just look at the last 4 games here. Last 4 games versus centers / power forwards, which is obviously we're going to put Miles Turner. In one game alone, this is just against Orlando, Wendell Carter went for 20 points, 5 rebounds. Bol went for 14 points, 9 rebounds. And Mo Bamba off the bench went for 14 and 10 in the same game. That's all in the same game. Yes, Banchero's not in there, but whatever. That's crazy numbers for all 3 of them. Bam Adebayo played them back-to-back games, went for 24 and 15, and then 18 and 14 against the same team. And then you could say, oh, those guys are pretty good. Drew Eubanks in 22 minutes went for 14 and 8. Like, Drew Eubanks, dude, are you kidding me? Yusuf Nurkic didn't even play that game, and they're still getting production out of the center position. Miles Turner has been absolutely fantastic since coming back from the ankle injury. And one thing I thought was really cool to see was in his last game against Toronto, he got back-to-back fouls like immediately in the second half, had 4 fouls, had to sit. What does he do? In the first 5 possessions, grabs 3 rebounds when he comes in the fourth quarter. So you see he's used to doing it, right? He does have foul troubles because he's blocking over 3 shots per game. He's so good at blocking the ball and then getting the rebound back, which is elite, obviously. But let's just look at overall numbers for the Charlotte team defensively. We look at Charlotte, they're bottom 5 in rebounds allowed, offensive rebounds allowed, defensive rebounds allowed, and points in the paint. That's where Miles Turner is going to be, and he still has the ability to shoot threes. So lastly, 85% from the free throw line so far this year, had multiple games with 100%. We see him go 10 for 10 in a game. So that's very important as well, especially with the number this low. Sign me up. Miles Turner is going to absolutely destroy Mr. Plumlee down low today.
Yeah, no, I mean, I already like the spot, actually a decent amount coming into this right here, but some of those guys you laid on me too, that means I'm definitely, I mean, Drew Eubanks dropping a nice 14 and 8 against that defense is always fun to see, especially Bam. I hate Bam. I hate Bam.
I was going to say, dude, he just cooked him twice.
Exactly. So seeing even Bam go, oh, I can exploit this matchup. I can score at will. I can rebound at will. And when he normally doesn't do that at all. And then Miles Turner's coming in with some very good form right here. I think he was going to make my card in somewhere or another, but I'm definitely going to lock this one in. I see it's minus 120, so I don't want it to move any more on me before this show ends right here. So absolutely love this Turner look. 100% going to be telling you right here. Who doesn't love fading Mason Plumlee, right? Who doesn't love doing that? I'm in.
Yeah, Mason Plumlee's coming off a high of scoring 18 points in their last matchup. What are you going to do when a guy who's blocking 3 shots a game? This man's blocking 3.1 shots per game. His line is 2.5 blocks at minus 125. When have we ever seen that for a guy? And he's only playing like 30 minutes a game too, which is absolutely nuts. Close total too, or close spread. I think it's only 2.5. Obviously would like to see Tyrese Halliburton be playing today. I think that helps him a lot to drive and kick. I think we want to see Tyrese in that spot for sure. I know he has an ankle issue, possibly he's questionable today, but yeah, man, how do you not want to fade this man? I'm all in, baby, all in. All right, perfect. 30 minutes. We're right at the spot we want to be. 40 of you guys in here. We appreciate you. Let's go through our recap here, and then we'll get to our long shots for tonight.
Yep, starting out in that Rockets game, we're going Sengun over 14.5 points, minus 105 over on DraftKings right now. And then Going a little DraftKings same game parlay right here. Lou Dort, 3 first quarter points, and then SGA, 1 first quarter assist, and then him to get a steal plus 100 over on DK. And then, yep, for Pickett, Taylor, fade, I'll be going a little bit unpopular right here. We'll talk about it a little bit more in a minute. I'm going shy under 28.5, fade in the public.
Awesome. I'll be taking the over very skeptically, just on pure volume. Rolling with CJ McCollum. We'll talk about him more in a second here. Over 27.5 points plus assists. And I'll also be rolling with my biggest play of the day in Miles Turner. Over 24.5 points plus rebounds for 1.5 units. Two guys we already talked about in our long shot spot today. I absolutely love both of these, and the odds are bonkers.
Yeah, no, there's some good odds right here. I'll start out with SGA, double-double plus 900 right here. When you look over at what it is on FanDuel, it's 560, and I think that's the correct price. But over on DraftKings, it's plus 900. If you want to get even a little bit less risky, I like 8 assists at plus 270. But the difference between 2 assists going from 270 to 900, that was enough to get me on board. Plus, SGA is a good rebounder. Like you mentioned with Cade earlier, 6'6", a guy with size. He can definitely grab you 10 boards every once in a while. Not going to happen too often, but I do like assists here, and it's for the same reason I've kind of said multiple times now. I think Washington is going to double team the crap out of him. Every time he gets into the lane, it's just going to be hard for him. I think we're going to spend all of our attention on him and say, hey, anyone else on this team beat us. Literally anybody. I mean, Poku, Williams, these guys that wouldn't be playing on regular teams. Why not let them beat you? And I understand a lot of teams come with that mentality, but seeing Washington be successful against Luka, successful against Ja, and then fairly successful. I mean, they gave up a double-double to KD. They got blown out in that game, but, it cashed the bet. So I just think that's going to be Washington's philosophy. So when it's plus 900 right here, I'm definitely going to be willing to take a sprinkle on it.
I love it. And I'm heading to CJ. Obviously, we talked about him here, but let's just take a look again at the numbers here in the 2 games that he played on a back-to-back. He got a double-double with rebounds, right? He had 10 boards in that game. So he had 30 points or 29 points and 10 rebounds, did not even record an assist in that game. He still would have hit our prop on pure points and would have hit our double-double there as well. Even in the game where he did struggle on the back-to-back, which was a 38 minutes attempt, he had 13, 7, and 7. So you see, even when a shot is not falling, he's trying to be involved in the game. And again, he is averaging a double-double without Zion. He's averaging 9.7 assists per game, right? That is still unbelievable numbers here for a guard, right? He's not even a big guard, but yeah, 9.7 assists per game, not without him. I mean, 6 to 1. You're going to give me a 6 to 1 odds on that? Sign me up. I'll even put a half unit on it. I know it's a little higher than we usually go for there. So yeah, we'll definitely be riding with him again there. I will. We have a guy in here bringing up some questions. I'll kick it to you for the first one, and that's going to be the Warriors here. Do you have any thoughts on the Warriors money line tonight?
I believe the Warriors haven't won on the road this season. I want to say I read that they were 0-7 on the road so far this year. Just an interesting stat to throw out there. Yeah, I kind of like the Suns a little bit more. I mean, I think it's going to be a close game. I think it's going to come down to the very kind of end, right, as we see most of these competitors. But I'm just not super impressed with the Warriors recently, to be completely honest. I mean, we're going to have to see. I guess Poole had his coming out party the other day. So if he can keep kind of being that secondary scorer, then that works. But we just can't trust Stephen Curry to score 40 points every single night, especially against a team like the Suns. I looked at Curry points. That was actually one of my first looks today. Spoiler alert, not a great history versus the Suns. They're pretty good at slowing them down out there, and I think that's going to be the main goal. So I expect a close game, but I would probably lean the Suns a little bit.
Yeah, no, I really have no thoughts on the money line here, but I know you brought up a college question. I actually do like the under a little bit more than a side here. 1 point spread on each side. San Francisco, obviously historically a very good defensive team here. I would be on the under here at 135.5 if I'm going to take anything. And Sarah's bringing up 7,400, 74 to 1 for us to hit both of them. I mean, if you guys got more balls than us, definitely throw them in there. But thank you. We appreciate you for the kind words here. I'm going to grab my dog here in a second. So I'm going to kick this to you for the DK boost. We don't usually go to the boosts, but what's your thoughts here on this spot?
Yeah, no, fade the boost has been pretty profitable so far this year. I will say I'll take this as an opportunity. Do I think all those guys will score 20 points tonight? Probably. But when I make parlays and when I make bets, I don't tend to love betting on four different guys at just plus 100 odds. You know what I mean? Like, when I try to do those parlays, right? Like I guess I did a 3-leg parlay earlier today. I try to make sure those hit rates are like 100%, right? SGA has steal every game this season, has one first quarter assist every game. Scoring is a lot harder. So when the line's at 20 points, trusting four different guys to drop 20 points at just plus 100, I normally like a little bit better of a payoff. I don't know about you, but that's just kind of a general strategy thing. Is any one of these guys could have an off night tonight, and that just kind of kills it. And you have to risk a decent amount at plus 100.
Yeah, I mean, blowouts in the NBA, even when the spreads are close, how many of them, like last night, KD to score 25 points, right? Dude didn't even get there because I think it was 30 points was his line. He didn't even get there because he only played like 25 minutes, right? It's just like there's so many blowouts in these spots. Like it's so hard to guess NBA, especially even just straight bets, right? Even in just our straight bets. But now you're going to rely on four different teams to keep it close in four separate games, right? All four of them have to be hitting their shots. Obviously, there's going to be volume, but each one of those guys have a pretty good star next to them too, right? You got Tatum with Jaylen Brown. It could be a Jaylen Brown night, right? You could see it that way. Obviously, depends on Chris Paul. Obviously, I think I like Booker a little bit more than the 20 points there, and then obviously Trae Young. But yeah, I can't back for plus 100. I would need a little bit more money in there. Appreciate it, Todd. We appreciate it. Let's go Packers. I know he is a Packers fan there. Stu, before we get to the thing, are you going 7,400? You gonna throw it on there?
You know, I probably won't, but hey, I'll sprinkle them both separately right here. I'd rather just bet $10 on each one of them, and if one of them hits, I'll be very happy. While if one of two hits and I parlay them together, then I'm sitting there sad at night. So I like to end my nights happy.
Yeah, no, I will be just taking them separate too. So I'm not gonna get crazy. But hey, Terrence, hey, more power to you, my friend. More power to you. I think Stu kind of mentioned the cover two. I don't know if I would go too much there, but I don't mind like receptions probably, maybe on just like the touch passes in front. I think we might see that a little bit more for Christian Watson this week to try to just get in his hands. He's probably the most explosive guy on the offense outside of Aaron Jones. So maybe something like that. I'm sure that's going to be an extremely high number than what it should be because he's really if it's 2.5 at any sort of minus, I am not touching it because this dude caught 3 touchdowns and had 4 receptions in the game. So it's like he's like a Gabe Davis type of play here. That's definitely the way I think about it there. But yeah, let's head on out. We're at 38 minutes. 45. You guys still in here? Thank you. Smash the like button on your way out. Stu, what do you got for the people before we dip today?
Yeah, no, I mean, if you guys, we obviously did Taylor Fade. SGA probably will be the most popular guy of the day, but if you want to continue to follow it through the rest of the day, go make sure and check out Pickett Sports with code PTP. They'll send you between $3 and $100, and you would do absolutely nothing. I mean, I like free money. You like free money. I think we all like free money around here, but even better than the free money from that, both you and me post stuff over there that we don't post anywhere else, right? I talk about Prize Picks a lot more now. I don't know if people have noticed that. I really enjoy all those random markets over there. They have combined touchdowns. They have targets in the NFL, free throw attempts in the NBA. No one else lets you bet that kind of fun stuff. But when I post it to Twitter, everyone's like, get this shit off of here. We don't care about Prize Picks. So I've got 1,000 of you guys over on Pickett that are all, supporters, people that kind of know. And then I post it over there and people are happy. We make money. I get to post my Prize Picks somewhere. So we both have additional content. That's the point. That's the long way I was trying to get around here. We both post stuff over there on Pickett. So if you want not only the $3 and $100 for just signing up, if you want to actually get more of our content, then go check out Pickett. That's all I got.
Yeah, both over 1,000. We did pass 1,000 on Monday. I think right after I mentioned I didn't have 1,000, but they got me up to 1,000. So appreciate you guys over there. But yeah, I think we have some great plays tonight, obviously. NBA started a little bit slower. These blowouts early in the season definitely are getting a few of these props there. But obviously, the track record speaks for itself. Obviously, we're going to continue to keep putting out stuff for you guys. Yes, go follow us over on Pickett. It's very, very easy. But yeah, I'm very excited. Obviously, have my team in prime time this time, so I'm excited for that game. We'll post some of those NFL plays tomorrow at some point. But yeah, I'm excited for tonight's slate. 10-game NBA slate. It's really tough to beat that. But on that note, we appreciate all of you guys. Still 40 of you guys lasting with us for all 40 minutes. Again, I will mention this again. If you have questions and you're not in here live, drop them. We will see them. We will answer them. We'll try our best to do it before a lock, but we usually are pretty good at doing that. So if you do have any questions and you're not able to catch it live, we know you guys might not be able to pop in here at 2:45 Central Time here, or 3:45 over in the East, but we're still here before. We'll try to get all of our answers out there for you guys. So have a good one. Best of luck. Hopefully we can come back and hit a 74-1 parlay. That would be pretty hype to finish off this week of an NBA content here. So have a good one, guys. We'll see you Friday for NFL. And also make sure you're following us over on Twitter. We are going to drop a question out there for a possible guest. So if you have any people that you're following that you really like, drop their content, drop their stuff underneath it. And we're going to try to bring on some new guests on here, because you guys have seen our great guests that we've already had, but we want to make sure that we're broadening them out a little bit, bringing some eyes to some people that maybe not are going to be popping on here. So have a good one, guys. We'll see you Friday, and we'll talk to you.